Interesting comment here. He said in 18 games without Austin Reeves, and we appreciate the super chat, by the way, Senpai, said Luka and LeBron on, the Lakers are +5. LeBron on, Luka off, the Lakers are +8. Luka on, and with LeBron off is a -8. Is that a Luka thing, or is that JJ needing to figure out the non-LeBron minutes? And I want to get your takes on this, because I felt like, especially in that second quarter, when LeBron was on the floor, he had the Banshees out there largely with him. He had guys that were really, he had Marcus Smart, he had Jared Vanderbilt flying around, he had Drew Timme on the floor, and Drew Timme was playing at a very high motor moment in that game. Luka came out and he had Rui and he had Gabe and he had these guys that were decisively lower energy compared to the guys LeBron was on the floor with. Is that, how much of it's Luka, how much of it is the rotation, and how do you solve this discrepancy?
I think the Lakers have figured something out here with these lineups in different units of LeBron plus the Banshees. Those groups have really worked. I think about like the Phoenix game going back. He was a big part of that 24-0 run that they had, last month. But there's been several instances, outside of that, including last night. I thought those groups played well, and DA was in there, and you had Marcus and Vando and Timme, and then there was a couple variations. I thought Luka came in and also fit into the 2-3 zone well. But I think this speaks to the Lakers are still figuring out the optimal way to deploy the big three, and it doesn't help that they've only had them for 8 games, right? Like ideally would like to see those guys together more and be able to, I believe it's been 8, maybe it's been 8 with the starters. I don't remember exactly how many games it's been with the big three, but I think one thing I'm starting to think about more is like maybe it is LeBron sort of leading these Banshee groups and then Luka and Austin together. I just think Luka's better with another high level offensive threat out there, because when it's just Luka and guys who not even necessarily are the Banshees, but guys who can't necessarily create their own shot, if we're talking about like a Rui or a Gabe, they're not going to be breaking people down off the dribble consistently. Then it just becomes a lot of all the attention's on Luka. And it can sometimes, I think, goad him into taking some of those step back threes, or the ball is just in his hands a lot and the ball isn't moving, and it's not necessarily on him. It's more so how the defense is guarding him, or just sort of the personnel that's out there with him. So I kind of like the idea of maybe certainly need to stagger the big three to some degree, but I wonder if like Luka and Austin have crushed it together this year without LeBron. They've been like, I think, a 122 offensive rating. It's been awesome. So maybe some more Luka and Austin minutes together where you overwhelm offensively, and then you have the LeBron Banshee groups as the bench unit, and see if that works, because I think those have been some of the better bench groups this season.
LeBron and the Banshees sounds like a 60s British invasion band or something like that, but I love it. It's interesting though, because going into the season, a lot of the conversation was Luka may have by himself minutes out there. Austin may, but LeBron would probably be LeBron and one of the other guys, especially when he was first getting back in. Now, I agree that we may be shifting towards of the three, LeBron is the one who carries a unit by himself, with the right players around him. Jason, what do you think?
I've been hearing a ton of buzz surrounding sports cards lately, and so I'm very excited to announce our new partnership with Fanatics Live. A great place to go if you're trying to get into sports cards. Fanatics Live is an awesome place to go to get in on the fun of ripping sports cards. It's an app where fans buy and rip cards together 24/7 with live on-screen hosts guiding the action. Let's check out the Fanatics Live Instant Rips pack. Right here, we're ripping an NBA pack. Let's see what we got. Here we go. First card, we got Bronny. Bronny's here. Might be playing a little bit more if the Lakers don't figure things out here pretty soon. So what's cool is all I have to do is go down to collection, and there's my card right there. I can manage everything within the app. It's got my estimated value. I can sell it right now. I can have it sent to me. All of it is managed through the app. You're ripping cards on the streams. You're managing your collection within the app. You can even get an instant offer for an app credit equal to 90% of the market value of the card. You can also do card breaks on here. You can collect what you want without buying the full box. Spots in a break usually correspond to teams. When you get a team, You then get all the cards from that team that come out of that box. You can do pick your team breaks where you choose which spot you want. Or you can do auction breaks where the spots are auctioned off starting at $1 and teams get randomly assigned. New users can get a free instant rips pack with a graded card to try it out. Use the link in the description to download the app and join your first stream to get your pack. Yeah, so I think that there's some proof of concept as to like how LeBron is succeeding in those units that I think is important to kind of focus in on, in the sense that the reason why, so let's just take like LeBron on, usually with Vando as an example of a player that struggles with Luka but succeeds with LeBron. LeBron and Vando with Luka and Austin off this year, they only have a 111 offensive rating, but they have a 103 defensive rating. And so that puts them at +8 in 250 possessions. And I think one of the important kind of like details there is how often they get out in transition. So those groups perform extremely well off of turnovers. And so what ends up happening is LeBron is a force multiplier as a defense to transition weapon because he's a very good rebounder and he's very good at throwing those kick ahead passes, running his lane, getting out in the open floor and making plays. And so they find this formula that works, which is put LeBron with these, we call them the Banshees, but just with the defensive minded role players. They get a bunch of stops, they get a bunch of rebounds, they run out in transition. That's where their success is. Whereas, to your point, when you've got these defensive-minded groups around Luka, it doesn't matter if they're not playing with a lot of energy and like up and down tempo to kind of accentuate the athleticism that they have around him. If they slow down in the half court and then Luka takes a bad three and then they run down the other end for a transition bucket the other way, it's a huge negative swing. So I like the idea. We've seen a little bit of this with Rui already. But I like the idea of, in general, like, what is Luka going to be best at right now? Leading a great offensive unit. Have those units just try to outscore everybody. That's where you should be playing, Rui and Austin, even Ayton, all of your best offensive players when LeBron's off the floor, and then lean into that, like, defense to transition element with LeBron. Essentially, like, you found your formula that works when LeBron's by himself. Find a formula that works with Luka. I think it would be more leaning towards offense.
Yeah, agreed. It makes sense. And that'll be really interesting to see. I believe Luka, Austin, and LeBron have only played like something like 290 possessions together on the floor.
And LeBron was a shell of himself at that point.
Yeah, and LeBron was not quite himself. So I'm really curious.
Wait, really quickly on that note, like, is there any greater evidence of just how far LeBron's come athletically than the fact that the last time he saw Scotty Barnes, he was completely overwhelmed by him, and then last night he was just doing whatever he wanted to him?
Oh, great point.
Great point.
Great point. Yeah,
that was the game he had the streak snapped.
Yep, exactly. But that's how far he's come in the last month or however long it's been.
Speaking of streaks being snapped, first time in 21 years LeBron's not been an all-star starter. Are you guys? Is that the right call?
He missed too many games.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not. He hasn't been a top five. Like if he wants to get in on, I think he's probably going to be an all-star, but I don't think he's been on the same level as those five guys. Yeah.
Well,
for what it's worth, I think Ant should have made it over Steph, but obviously, like as a starter, both like I think those are the top six right now.
Yeah, we did that show, Jovan, you and I did last week on the all-star starters, who it should be. And LeBron barely squeaked on to the end of my list. He made it as an injury replacement on yours. I can't say if LeBron was playing the way he's played over, I don't know, let's say the last 2-3 weeks and didn't miss time, then he's in. He would have made it.
I have a theory that LeBron isn't going to miss another game this year unless he gets hurt.
Because of the 65 games?
Because he goes 5-7 over this last week. There was literally no reason for him to play in Portland. They had no ball handling and no bigs. But if he plays every game the rest of the season, he finishes with 65. So, like, again, if he gets hurt, I think he'll sit. But if he's like sore/tired, I think he's going to play the rest of the way.
Is that a good thing for the Lakers?
Probably not.